I saw a fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers save the NBA.
Save the NBA?
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know who he is.
From Charles Barkley, who called him a fool and an idiot on live national television, to Kevin Durant, who told the whole world his former brother took the coward way out, these NBA legends didn't just have opinions about Kendrick Perkins. They had receipts, and what they revealed will leave you absolutely speechless. Charles Barkley. Let us begin at the top, and by the top, we mean the biggest, loudest, most public detonation in this entire saga. Because when Charles Barkley goes off, the whole basketball world stops and listens. It was March 6th, 2025. TNT's Inside the NBA was live, the cameras were rolling, and Barkley, a man who has never in his life been accused of holding back, had clearly had enough. The trigger was Kendrick Perkins going on ESPN and declaring with full chest that the Los Angeles Lakers had saved the NBA season following their blockbuster trade for Luka Doncic. To Barkley, sitting across from Shaquille O'Neal on a rival network, watching from the outside, this was not basketball analysis. This was ESPN doing what ESPN always does, shoving the Lakers and the Warriors down America's throat while ignoring the teams that had actually been dominating all season long. And so Charles Barkley, Hall of Famer, 11-time All-Star, and one of the most beloved analysts in the history of sports television, looked into that camera and unloaded.
I saw a fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers save the NBA.
Save the NBA?
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know who he is.
He didn't stop there, not even close.
What's his name, Shaq?
Which one you talking about?
Kendrick Perkins.
Oh.
He said the Lakers, first of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said the Lakers saved the NBA season.
Think about what is happening in that moment. Charles Barkley is so fired up that he momentarily forgets Kendrick Perkins' name. That is how little he thinks of the take. And once he remembered the name, he made sure the whole world heard exactly how he felt about it.
That's because them fools on the other network, which we're going to be working for next year, that's all they talk about. Let me tell y'all something.
Tell me something.
And first of all, I want all the smoke.
I want all the smoke, from Charles Barkley, directed at Kendrick Perkins. That sentence alone tells you everything you need to know about how far this had gone.
But y'all are idiots because y'all talk about the Lakers and the Warriors all the time. Y'all don't. The Cleveland Cavaliers have won 12 straight games.
Barkley's core argument was not just about the Lakers. It was a broader indictment of ESPN's coverage obsession, the relentless focus on legacy franchises and GOAT debates, while legitimately elite teams like the top-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers and Oklahoma City Thunder went underappreciated. And Perkins, in Barkley's eyes, was the poster child for that bias. Now here is where it gets interesting, because Perkins fired back on X almost immediately, posting a message directed at Barkley that was anything but a white flag. He called Barkley a senior citizen, told him to keep that same energy in person, and signed off with, "Straight from the 409 homeboy, and we bar none and fade all." The 409, that's the Beaumont, Texas area code. Big Perk was letting Barkley know, this is not television beef. This is personal. This was not their first rodeo either. For years, Barkley had taken shots at Perkins for what he called hot takes for clicks, and Perkins had fired back in April 2024 by accusing the entire Inside the NBA crew, Barkley included, of obviously not watching enough basketball. So by March 2025, all of that pressure had been building, and it finally blew. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. On June 3rd, 2025, just months after the fireworks, Perkins appeared on the Stephen A. Smith Show and publicly squashed the beef. "I want the world to know that me and the great Charles Barkley have no beef no more. I just think this is stupid." Barkley reportedly agreed via a group chat involving Michael Wilbon. Why the sudden peace? Because both men are about to share the same ESPN airwaves. And apparently, calling each other fools and idiots loses its charm when you're colleagues. Shaquille O'Neal. If Charles Barkley was the main event, Shaquille O'Neal was the enforcer standing right behind him. And what Shaq and the TNT crew did to Kendrick Perkins in April 2024 is the kind of thing that gets replayed on highlight shows for years. It started with Perkins going on the Michael Kay show and boldly accusing Barkley, Shaq, and the entire Inside the NBA crew of obviously not watching enough basketball. He said they relied on personality over film study. He said their playoff takes, specifically on the Knicks, were lazy and uninformed. For Shaq, a man whose entire identity is built on being the most dominant force in any room he enters, that kind of criticism from a former role player That was a roach crawling across his kitchen counter. And you know what you do with roaches. On April 23rd, 2024, during a post-game segment on Inside the NBA, TNT producers wheeled out a freestanding punching bag with Kendrick Perkins' face taped to it. Photo edited to show a missing tooth for maximum comedic humiliation. Barkley and Shaq put on boxing gloves. Shaq grabbed a Super Soaker water gun and drenched the bag first. Then the punches started flying, and the laughter was loud. Oh, we going to kill some roaches? Let's kill some roaches. Leave us alone, roach. That was Barkley, and Shaq was right there with him. Every punch, a declaration that, in the arena of NBA media credibility, Kendrick Perkins was, in their professional opinion, nothing more than a nuisance. Now, Perkins initially played it off on X with a laughing emoji, telling the TNT crew that Chuck ain't ready to get his feet hot. But in a June 2024 interview, the mask slipped just a little. He took specific issue with the roach label. Not the punching bag, not the jokes, but that one word, we kill roaches in black neighborhoods. Come on, man, what we on? That was Perkins drawing a line, telling the world that the humor had crossed into something he found genuinely disrespectful, even as he publicly laughed it off. Shaq had also gone on Instagram separately, posting a compilation of Perkins' low-stat playoff clips and sarcastically saying, "Damn, Kendrick, you got me. I don't need to watch. I'm him." Translation: You're questioning whether I watch basketball? Brother, I am basketball.
Shaq, we appreciate you stopping by our set, and we're looking forward to being your teammate here coming up next year.
That clip, Shaq crashing the ESPN pregame set ahead of the NBA Finals, is the perfect summary of where this rivalry stood. Shaq was not just dunking on Perkins from a distance. He was showing up at Perkins' workplace, literally, to make his point in person. And the irony? After the June 2025 Barkley reconciliation, with both networks set to merge their NBA coverage at ESPN, the roach jokes quietly went away, because the pest and the exterminators now share the same house. No formal squash with Shaq, no handshake, just silence and a new zip code. Kevin Durant. Of all the beefs on this list, none carries more emotional weight than the one between Kendrick Perkins and Kevin Durant, because this was not two strangers throwing verbal stones across a media divide. This was two men who called each other brothers, who shared locker rooms, playoff runs, and the kind of bond that only comes from grinding together towards something great, and watched it all burn down in a Twitter feud that the whole world witnessed. Perkins joined the Oklahoma City Thunder via trade in 2011 and served as the veteran defensive anchor alongside a young Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. The friendship was genuine. The brotherhood was real. But when Durant left OKC for the Golden State Warriors in July 2016, after the Thunder blew a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals, Perkins viewed it as a betrayal of everything they had built together, and he said so, loudly and repeatedly, on national television. But before the Twitter war of 2020, there was a moment in 2018 that set the tone for everything that followed. During the NBA Finals, Warriors versus Cavaliers, Perkins, then with Cleveland, attended a post-game press conference where Durant was at the podium. He poked his head in and flashed a double middle finger salute directly at KD. Durant was caught on video mouthing something decidedly unprintable in response. No apology, no explanation, just raw, unfiltered bad blood between two men who used to call each other family. Then came January 10th, 2020, the night Perkins ignited what became one of the most viral NBA Twitter feuds in recent memory. He tweeted that Russell Westbrook was the best player to have ever put on an Oklahoma City Thunder jersey, calling him Mr. Thunder. Durant, who won 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, and a league MVP in that uniform, was not going to let that slide. KD fired back with a dig at Perkins' playing stats, specifically his 2013 playoff performance against Memphis. Ye and our starting center, Kendrick Perkins, averaged a whopping 2 and 3 during that series. You played hard the champ law, and that opened the floodgates. Perkins replied, "Boy, stop, you did the weakest move in NBA history. Up on a team 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals, and then go join them the following season? Hard a champion right there." Durant countered by going straight at Perkins' lack of production. And then Perkins dropped what became the most famous line of the whole exchange. "You worked that hard and still had to go join a 73-9 team. Truth be told, you don't even feel like a real champ. You took the coward way out." Months later, Durant went on the All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, and for the first time, he pulled back the curtain on how deep this wound actually ran.
Because when Perk said that, it's like, bro, like, as former players, you know what this like, so don't let these hype you up and just saying some shit.
He wasn't finished.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, and we actually got into it a little bit of back and forth, because I said it on Twitter. He hit me back, and I knew everyone wanted us to argue, so I DM'd him, like, Brian got your number. But let's talk about this.
Durant made clear that Perkins knew exactly what he was doing when he declared Westbrook the greatest Thunder player, that it was a deliberate, divisive statement designed to stoke an OKC fan base that had spent years trying to pit them against each other.
You know what I mean? So, but what I was saying was, it's just like, you can give Russ all the props you want, but you ain't on him in the process.
Exactly.
Like, I think today, like, to show love to one.
As recently as February 2025, KD was still reacting to Perkins' comments, this time after Perk declared himself the real leader of the Thunder on NBA Today, with Durant calling it by far the craziest thing I've seen this week. LeBron James. There is a particular kind of heartbreak that comes from losing a friend slowly, not in one explosive moment, but through a series of small cuts, each one deeper than the last. That is the story of Kendrick Perkins and LeBron James. And the way Perkins tells it, the whole thing could have been avoided if he had just kept his mouth shut about Bronny. Perkins and LeBron were teammates in Cleveland during the 2014-15 season, and their off-court friendship was described as close for years afterward. Perkins called LeBron the GOAT publicly and consistently. He defended him on First Take. He had his back when others came for him. By all accounts, they were genuine friends, the kind of friendship that survives trades, retirements, and media careers. Then came Bronny James. In 2024, ESPN kept turning the camera toward Bronny's draft eligibility, his time at USC, and his selection to the McDonald's All-American game. And Perkins, microphone in hand, started asking questions that LeBron did not want asked.
History of it, we don't know too many people that average 14 points that's a Mickey D's All-American. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't even believe he made All-State in California. I'm not trying to shit on him. I'm keeping it real.
He then added something that made it even more personal. A player from his own hometown in Beaumont, Texas, was ranked above Bronny all season, averaging 30 points a game, and got leapfrogged for the McDonald's All-American nomination.
I got a little kid that was in Bronny class that was ranked above Bronny from my hometown in Beaumont, named Wesley Yates. You know what I'm saying? He was averaging 30. And as soon as they got a month away to get nominated, Bronny jumped him. But this man averaging 30. He been ranked above him this entire time.
LeBron's response was not a press conference. It was not a tweet. It was an unfollow. Swift, silent, and absolutely devastating in what it communicated. LeBron James, one of the most powerful figures in professional sports, simply removed Kendrick Perkins from his digital world. And everyone noticed. Perkins addressed it live on First Take with characteristic bravado. Everybody didn't follow Jesus, I'll be okay. But then he revealed what he did next, and it is one of the most authentically human things you will ever hear from a sports media personality. He blocked LeBron's number on his phone. He unfollowed me, and then I blocked him on my cell phone. Petty for petty. King James moves in silence, and so did Big Perk.
I love
I read the media.
Russ, KD, Bron. Like, I had to speak on it though, you know what I'm saying? And it be hard situations, bro. Like, we talked about the McDonald's game, and like Bron got mad at me because we was talking about Bronny. You know what I'm saying? About the draft.
In October 2025, on the Out the Mud podcast, Perkins opened up completely, admitting that losing LeBron's friendship genuinely hurt him, that both men are bullheaded, and that he is not rushing to mend fences, but holds out hope that if they ever cross paths again, it might be the moment that gets them back on speaking terms. Zack Randolph. Every story on this list so far has played out in studios, on Twitter, and through podcast microphones. But this one played out in the arena, in the hallway, on the basketball court where enforcers do what enforcers do, and where one wrong word can turn a regular season. Ease game into something that requires a league investigation. It was November 14th, 2012. The Memphis Grizzlies were visiting the Oklahoma City Thunder at Chesapeake Energy Arena, and both teams brought their most physically intimidating assets to the floor. On one side, Zack Randolph, Zebo, a two-time All-Star, a bruising power forward, the heart of the Grizzlies' grit and grind identity, and a man who had earned a reputation for playing as if every game was a street fight. On the other side, Kendrick Perkins, the Thunder's veteran center, the defensive anchor, the enforcer brought in specifically because OKC needed someone who would not back down from anybody. With just over 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, Marc Gasol scored on Perkins in the post, and Randolph erupted, trash-talking Perkins loudly enough for the whole building to feel it. Perkins took exception. They squared up. Officials ejected both players, and as they were being escorted in opposite directions towards separate tunnels, both men were clearly not done. Then came the hallway. Randolph left his team's area, pushed through a set of double doors into the Thunder's side of the hallway, and confronted Perkins a second time. Security had to physically intervene to prevent what could have become something far more serious. The NBA launched an investigation. 5 days later, the league fined Randolph $25,000 solely for the post-ejection hallway confrontation. Perkins received no fine. And Zebo, being Zebo, went on the Chris Vernon show and gave one of the most candid, slightly unhinged post-incident interviews you will ever hear from a professional athlete on whether he handled Perkins. I didn't whoop his. That's the thing about it. Hopefully, I get some back. I'm trying to get some back on the $25,000 fine. They said it was because I went through the double doors. I guess I went on their side, but it was a lesson learned. It won't happen again. I ain't gonna lose no $25,000 again. And when asked if he could handle Perkins in a fair fight, Randolph didn't flinch. I'm good with these hands, man. I'm a jackin' dude. I'm pretty good with these hands. Kenyon Martin. Kendrick Perkins has never been the kind of man who lets a slight go unanswered. And when Kenyon Martin, a former All-Star, a man who built his career on the same blue-collar defensive principles that Perkins swore by, called him a liability, Perkins came back with a spreadsheet of receipts, so detailed it would make an accountant blush. It was mid-May 2025. Martin appeared on Gilbert Arenas podcast, and in a discussion comparing the 2025 OKC Thunder to the 2012 Thunder squad that reached the NBA Finals, called Perkins a liability on that championship team. The argument was rooted in modern basketball analytics, that Perkins' inability to space the floor or defend in switches would be catastrophically exposed against a faster, more dynamic 2025 roster. Martin framed it as analysis. Perkins heard it as a personal attack on everything he sacrificed for that team. 3 days later, on the Road Trippin' podcast, Perkins unloaded. He started with the most important fact that Martin, in his estimation, had completely ignored. The Oklahoma City Thunder never went to the NBA Finals until Kendrick Perkins arrived on that team because they couldn't get past the Lakers, who had the Twin Towers and Andrew Bynum and Pau Gasol. He then went through the tape, playoff series by playoff series, matchup by matchup, guarding Dirk Nowitzki in the Western Conference Finals, checking Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum against the Lakers, holding his own against Tim Duncan in the San Antonio series, being switched onto Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili in smaller lineups when the game required it. Perkins painted the picture of a man who gave up scoring, gave up individual glory, gave up the statistics that would have made him look better in retirement. Also, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook could thrive. Martin never publicly responded after Perkins' road tripping rebuttal, and no further back and forth has occurred. Serge Ibaka. There are lines in professional sports that you simply do not cross. You do not question a man's work ethic. You do not question his integrity. And you do not, especially when you shared a locker room with him for 4 years, fought alongside him in the playoffs, and called yourself his teammate, make jokes about his age rooted in a harmful racial stereotype. Kendrick Perkins crossed every single one of those lines on December 26, 2022, live on ESPN's First Take, while reminiscing about the young Oklahoma City Thunder squad of 2011-12.
And you know what everybody kept saying? Oh, Kevin Durant is only 23 years of age. Russell Westbrook is only 22. James Harden is 22. Serge Ibaka is 21, although he was probably 30 at the time, because we already know how certain individuals lie about their age, but we're not about to get into that.
He went there. Kendrick Perkins, a black man from Beaumont, Texas, went on national television and perpetuated one of the most tired, most harmful stereotypes in professional basketball. The idea that African and international players routinely lie about their ages. And he directed it at Serge Ibaka, a man he shared a locker room with for 4 seasons, a man who was legitimately 21 or 22 years old during the Thunder's 2011-12 finals run, a man born in 1989 whose age was never in question. Ibaka did not fire back immediately with anger. He responded with something far more powerful, measured, articulate, deeply personal devastation.
You can talk about my game if I don't play well. I will never have a problem with that. But to talk extra for no reason is really not acceptable. It is disrespectful to me, and I feel like it is disrespectful to many Africans who have to live with that unfounded accusation.
Ibaka then went further, accusing Perkins of getting his media job by breaking the locker room code, of criticizing KD and Westbrook behind their backs during their playing days, and of continuing that same pattern of disloyalty in his analyst role. You were not a locker room leader, Ibaka wrote. And then, you continued doing the same in the media. I understand everyone needs to do their job and take care of their families, but you are proof not everybody knows how to do it with class and dignity.
By the way, would apologize. We'll show that momentarily. Although I am disappointed, I am not surprised to see these actions from someone who got his job by breaking the locker room code and by spreading lies about two of his former teammates and brothers like Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Perkins issued a half apology. My bad, homie, if I offended you. It was a joke, but then almost immediately walked it back, telling Ibaka to stop being so damn sensitive and hinting darkly that he could air dirty laundry from their Thunder days if pushed. It was the kind of apology that manages to make everything worse. No reconciliation has been reported since. Russell Westbrook. Of all the friendships Kendrick Perkins has lost in his media career, the one with Russell Westbrook might be the most painful, because it did not end in a viral tweet or a punching bag segment. It ended in a private moment that spilled into the public eye only years later, when Perkins himself confirmed on the Road Trippin' podcast in October 2025 that the friendship was over, and had been for some time. They were close, genuinely, authentically close. Thunder teammates from 2011 to 2015, the kind of brotherhood forged in playoff battles and late-night film sessions, and the shared experience of almost winning it all. When Perkins declared Westbrook the greatest player in Thunder history in January 2020, it was at least partly an act of loyalty, a public defense of a man he considered a brother. But somewhere around 2022 or 2023, Perkins was on television and relayed a message he had received from multiple NBA general managers, that Westbrook needed to temper it down, to adjust his high-volume, turnover-heavy style, or risk playing himself out of the league entirely. Perkins delivered that message publicly, on air, as what he described as tough love advice from someone who cared. Westbrook did not see it that way.
I lost some friends.
No,
some
yeah.
real shit. I lost
I read the media.
Russ, KD, Bron. Like, I had to speak on the shit though. You know what I'm saying? And
Perkins described the fallout as nasty and revealed that their wives got involved. Perkins' wife and Nina Westbrook exchanged heated texts and phone calls, turning what had started as a professional media disagreement into a fully personal rupture. After that, our relationship was over with, Perkins said. As of October 2025, when Perkins made these revelations, Westbrook was unsigned, sitting outside of NBA rosters, which Perkins noted made his original warning feel, in hindsight, prophetic. That must be an impossible thing to sit with. To have warned a man who was like a brother to you, to have that warning cost you the friendship, and then to watch the warning come true. Perkins has stated they have not spoken in several years. Westbrook has never given a public explanation. The silence between them is its own kind of answer, and for Perkins, who has now publicly acknowledged losing Westbrook, Durant, and LeBron as genuine friends all in the same breath, that is a weight that no ESPN contract can make lighter. Steph Curry. We end our story not with a years-long feud, not with a friendship destroyed, and not with a viral Twitter war. We end it with a single moment, roughly 45 seconds of competitive basketball that managed to encapsulate everything about what happens when you give Steph Curry a reason to get angry. It was June 3rd, 2018, Game 2 of the NBA Finals, Golden State Warriors versus Cleveland Cavaliers. Oracle Arena was absolutely electric. Curry was already having a historic night, pouring in buckets from everywhere on the floor. And then, late in the third quarter, he launched a desperation three-pointer from the corner to beat the buzzer. His momentum carried him backward, out of bounds, and directly into the Cleveland bench area, right into Kendrick Perkins, who was seated in street clothes, legs extended, inactive for the game. Warriors players, including Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, believed Perkins had deliberately refused to move his legs, creating a dangerous tripping situation that could have ended Curry's night with a twisted ankle or a torn ligament. Curry stood up and confronted Perkins face to face. Words were exchanged. Security separated them. Perkins, for his part, has maintained consistently that it was nothing, that he was just sitting there, minding his business, and that Curry landed on him. I don't know what I did wrong, he said on ESPN's Hoop. Streams in 2020. I was sitting down, chilling, minding my business. But I tried to trip him. I would never try to take anyone out. Whether you believe him or not almost does not matter, because what happened next told the real story. Curry went into the fourth quarter and went absolutely nuclear. 5 for 5 from 3, turning what had been a contested game into a Warriors blowout. The Warriors ultimately swept the series, and later, months later, when Curry had a chance to address the moment, he essentially filed it under motivation received and used accordingly.
Steph Curry also had receipts referencing this clip from First Take last summer. Y'all gonna sit on First Take. You and Dominique Foxworth are going to sit on First Take and say that Steph Curry will not be in the conversation for a championship in the next 4 years.
Curry used Perkins' First Take predictions, his dismissal of the Warriors' championship window, as fuel, and pointed to it publicly as part of the motivation that drove him in that 2022 title run.
My goodness, they noticed this stuff. I mean, Big Perk, what?
Well, one, I appreciate them watching. That's the first thing.
There is something almost poetic about the fact that Perkins, a man who has fueled so many other people's fire, ended up becoming Steph Curry's bulletin board material. And unlike every other story on this list, this one has no lingering bitterness, no broken friendships, no ongoing Cold War, just a great player using a hot take as rocket fuel, and an analyst who has to live with the knowledge that his skepticism became part of the legend he was doubting. If you made it to the end of this video, you already know what to do. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.